So the practice of hiding the remains of the dead is a pretty old practice. If you look in the Himalayan region, they get rather explicit about what they think is going to happen if you don't. Where they excise the flesh from the dead and put them in caskets covered in furbas. And this goes back way before Buddhism even existed. People were living around this region for about 5,000 years. And it's just as soon as the ice started to recede enough that they could get up in there. And anyway, I believe my husband was incinerated, and then, but that some genetic tissue was retained at Cook, and that they also had some samples of molds from around the world, and that they have. I've gone on and on and on about how poor their disposal practices are, and that at some point he became CRISPR'd to these living molds, these sentient molds, and became a new Bayuna or a new Manitou, and is transforming into that. When he finally manifests a new body, it'll be like a mushroom fruiting body, which may be what these rishis, they prefer the term rishi because rishi is a mushroom and that's a traditional term, but in the West we call them vampires, and they aren't exactly as described anywhere, but they're similar, and there are certain key points that you're in debt to somebody, and they find where you're buried, and they pour an elixir down your mouth, and you're resurrected as their slave. In time, you might outlive your master and become a new master, and then. So it wasn't only the Egyptians that did this. I believe that we're dealing sometimes with the Pashkirs or the Scythians, or the sometimes called the Khazars, and that they started using mercury to extract gold from the streams, and then that changed the genome of the people around them and the lifestyle and stuff. They also gathered along the Silk Road because of the various things going along it, and made themselves a presence. They interfered with they didn't announce their presence until plans had been made, and then they interfered with the plans after people had dissipated. So these kinds of things resurrect with you. We go through a soft stage, and then if you are brought back, you're a harder being. But sometimes people would accost me with ideas that they understood what my husband was whispering about, or what he liked to do, and that they had managed to determine that I was whispering something similar, and that we were even whispering back and forth across large amounts of space. And they wanted me to think about things more concretely that are very, very different if you don't have bones and you're a mushroom fruiting body, and your reactions to things are processed in a much larger and much faster processor than if you do that to a monkey.